Hey, 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 welcome to the Diamond, everybody. This is Parney's Pitch Around, hosted by, me, Parney. Welcome to our season finale show. That's right, folks. Hard to believe, right? But our 2020 season that never was would have ended on Monday. So it's the first time we ever ended a year undefeated, but we also didn't win any games either. Folks, we got an amazing show. It's race week here in Richmond. NASCAR's coming to town. COVID different, no fans, but nonetheless, when you think racing in Virginia, the word that comes to mind is Sadler. So our first guest tonight is going to be Elliott Sadler. But before we get to the Big E, let's talk about events at the Diamond real quickly. And by the way, folks, if you have questions for me, please go to the chat page and ask Anthony Opperman. Type them in, Anthony Opperman will get the questions to us. Coming up tomorrow night, Diamond Disc Golf presented by Woodfin right here at the Diamond. Go to our website. I think we're sold out for that, but we're going to do it every Thursday night. Diamond Disc Golf right here at the Diamond. Friday night, the Richmond International Film Festival comes here to the Diamond. Live music, movie on the video board, really unique relationship. So come on out and support the Richmond International Film Festival. You can go to their website and find out more information about that. Saturday, Finding Nemo, movies in the outfield. Finding Nemo, 7:30 is the showtime. Coming up next week, September 15th, we've had a lot of rain in the month of August, so our Virginia Pride Night with the movie The Birdcage, one of my all-time favorite movies with Robin Williams. That'll be on September the 15th, 7:30 showtime. Then September 17th, Diamond Disc Golf presented by Woodfin. September 18th, our Funville Friday happy hours are back. And finally, September 19th, the movie 42, the story of Jackie Robinson, right here at the Diamond. Folks, we know we didn't have baseball, but come on out and participate with us, be involved with us, and connect with us as we strive to build that bridge to 2021 and better days ahead. Speaking of better days ahead, my pops, my dad, Ray Parnell, is hopefully, if my sister Nancy figured out her machine, watching our show tonight. Dad's in the hospital. He's fighting shingles. So salute to my dad, Ray Parnell. And we'll be right back after this commercial break from Dominion Energy with this guy, Elliott Sadler, everybody, coming right up on Parney's Pitch Around, presented by Dominion Energy.
Stay safe, man. See you when you get back.
Count on it. Hey, big girl. Daddy's gotta go for a bit. I'll be back. I promise. Come here.
Good night, sweetie. Good night, Mom.
Can we try without the hat?
At Dominion Energy, 1 in every 5 new hires is a veteran. We're grateful for the many sacrifices you make.
All right, everybody, it's time. Put your seatbelts on. Get that Hans device ready. The one and only Elliott Sadler is live on Parney's Pitch Around with us. Folks, I don't know what's going to happen for the next 15 minutes, but anytime you get my man Elliott and I in the same room, things get a little crazy. So, Elliott, welcome to the show, buddy.
Glad to be here, and who cares what happens? Let's just have fun and see where it goes.
Hey, it's 2020, baby. Who knows? You remember this?
I do remember that. I remember when I was that size.
I got a question for you later on. But before we start, my dad's in the hospital, Ray Parnell. Can you give my dad a 10-second pep talk, Elliott?
Hey, man, fight hard, guys. Here we go. Let's fight through it, man. Show some heart. Battle back, man. Don't give up. You'll be back out before you know it.
I know.
right.
We got to watch some racing together. My dad's a huge race fan. When I grew up in Locust, North Carolina, we could hear Concord Motorsports Park from my front yard on Saturday nights. So let's talk a little bit about your obviously you and Hermie and the Sadler name synonymous with Emporia. By the way, don't go over the speed limit in Emporia because you'll
Please
get
do
stopped,
not.
right?
Please do not. It's a speed trap.
Your
Behave.
favorite sport growing up, Elliot, go.
I played 6 sports growing up in high school, but I loved basketball from a very early age. Huge basketball fan.
And you had some scholarship offers. Is that a correct statement?
I
Because I
did.
did
had
my research for Parney's pitch around.
You did. I had scholarship offers to play both basketball or baseball in college. But we decided not to do baseball because I was also racing at the time. And playing baseball in college is all summer long and pretty much year round. And we were trying to race and do that as well. So that kind of eliminated any baseball chances for me to play in school with just too much going on.
And did you commit to James Madison? Or did I read that right? Okay.
I did. I went to James Madison to play, and I got hurt during
Who was
practice.
the coach? Who was the coach?
Lefty Drizel.
Yeah, it's the old left-hander.
Great man, great guy, great coach. I was very blessed and fortunate to be able to go to JMU to have an opportunity to play, but it never worked out. Too many injuries. I was marginal anyway, and then when you get hurt and you lose a step, and I'm 6'2" with heels on, it's just it was tough. But anyway, that led to when one door closed, definitely another one opened and led me in the direction that I ended up going with racing.
Which brings me, thank you for the segue to my next question. Why NASCAR? Talk a little bit about NASCAR besides your sponsorship with Ultra. Talk a little bit about why NASCAR. What happened there?
So my dad took Hermie and I to races as kids when we were growing up. We go to Richmond Raceway, we go to Rockingham, Darlington, Charlotte, Martinsville, Daytona, all these different places. So we were fans first, and we were racing go-karts also on the East Coast, all up and down the East Coast. It's called WKA, World Karting Association. Yep. We were doing all these things, and we just were NASCAR fans. And then Hermie kind of paved the way for me. He'd run late models for a little while, and then when he moved up the ladder to Busch Racing, which is Xfinity Racing now, I kind of got to go in his car. And then he kind of paved the way for me to help me get some Busch opportunities. So I kind of did that. So it's just NASCAR was what we were fans of, and that's the reason, the direction we went. And man, it was pretty good. It was a pretty good ride while it lasted.
Shout out to Hermie. We love Hermie as well. Talk a little bit about when you went to races with your dad, whose T-shirt did Elliott Sadler wear?
I was a Cale Yarborough fan. He was the grand marshal in a hometown parade, the Peanut Festival Parade in Emporia, Virginia. Yes. Cale Yarborough was the grand marshal, and I was able to take a picture with him when I was 7 years old. He was driving the Hardee's number 28 car, and I loved Hardee's. So I was a big Cale Yarborough fan when I was growing up as a kid.
Who did Hermie? What T-shirt did Hermie have on?
I don't care. I did not pay attention what the hell he had.
I love it.
He was the older brat brother that got he got to pick 3 T-shirts before I got one left over one.
Why do I not think that you as the younger brother got your way more often than not? Why do I think that?
Maybe.
So you go into NASCAR, Hermie moves up, you move up, and all of a sudden you're on the big circuit. In minor league baseball, because you and I talk a lot about it, we'll talk about your love for baseball here in a second, what you're doing now. But we always have players that take people under their wing. Which NASCAR driver took you under his wing when you got to the big circuit?
Very easy answer, Dale Jarrett. And I'll tell you a quick story in case there's any Dale Jarrett fans out there. 1996, Diamond Ridge Motorsports calls me and says, Elliot, we're going to take you to Darlington Raceway. If you run a specific time, we will let you drive our car next weekend at Bristol. It was a tryout. Every baseball person knows that's trying to make it somewhere. You go for a tryout, and they're timing your exit velocity and how much velo you got. I mean, the whole 9 yards, how fast you can run, everything. This was a tryout. So I pull into the racetrack, 1996. It's like 4 number 88s there and like 4 number 28s. and Dale Jarrett was there testing for the Winston Million. He had a chance in 1996 to win the Winston Million at Darlington.
$1 million.
$1 million. So I walk up to DJ and I go, hey, man, I've never been here before. My name's Elliott Sadler. Anything you can tell me to help me with this racetrack will be great. He said, get in the car with me. So I got in his race car, and he just drove me around showing me all these different things. So I learned that day. Well, I thought, man, everybody's so nice here. This is really nice. All these NASCAR guys helping you. I found out later in life it wasn't like that. But DJ was that kind of person.
Did you ever play golf with him? I heard he's a great golfer.
I played golf with him 4 times a week, every week for probably 7 or 8 straight years. And let me tell y'all, he can't hit it out of his shadow. But if he's on the green, he's going to make the putt. He made so much money in those 7 or 8 years, he didn't have to race.
Drive for show, putt for dough, baby.
He does. He is one of the best chippers and putters I've ever been around. And he's still playing to this day for money and having a good time.
And why else would you play anything, Elliott?
That's right. That's right. Honestly.
This question's down the road, but since you brought it up, I want to ask the question. You said you thought everybody was nice. You found out they weren't.
Right.
We're all friends here on Parney's Pitch Around.
Don't get me in trouble. Don't get me in trouble.
Your biggest beef. Who'd you have the biggest beef with?
I had a couple beefs, but I'll be honest with you. Probably the biggest one ended up being Ryan Preece for the championship a couple years ago.
I remember that. You and I talked the next morning. We texted the next morning.
Yeah, I wanted to kill him.
I can't say on Parney's Pitch Around, but yes, you did. You did want to kill him.
Yeah, So anyway, that was a beef I had. I had a beef with Carl Edwards a couple times too, which I think everybody did. He had a long list of guys, but you have some beef with some guys. That's all part of racing. It's just like you do in baseball or any other sports. There's some guys you just can't get along with. It's not enough room on the racetrack for both of you.
Competition, and you're a competitor. Competition has a long memory, and if things happen, you don't forget things that happen. All right, little couple other questions, and I want to talk about what you're doing now.
Okay.
When M&M sponsored your car, did you get free M&Ms? And if so, what was your favorite one?
Green. That's why she was on my side of the car back in the day. They put Miss Green on there with me. I got a cool story about M&Ms.
Do it.
Kyle Busch just ran a throwback Elliott Sadler paint scheme at Darlington. I had no idea. It was a surprise. They didn't tell me. I saw it on social media first. Victoria Mars, who is Mars, sent me a text. Yeah, Mars, who I've been great friends with forever. Sent me a text. She said, I can't think of a better throwback.
That's awesome.
To think about you and your family. We're missing you and Amanda and the kids, blah, blah, blah. And she said, you should be getting something in a day or two. And I got a box. I mean, you and I can sit in it, full of M&Ms, full. Look, like a neat little, like cool stuff like this. Glass jars full of M&Ms, thousands of them.
Oh, that's awesome.
They have my name on them and the number and everything.
Well,
great people.
That's great. When I worked with Larry Hedrick, he was sponsored by the Kodiak car. It got me chewing tobacco. It was horrible. But by the way, Larry, you knew Larry Hedrick, correct?
I did, 100%.
And he just passed away this past week. So our thoughts go to he and his family. Besides a Virginia track, because Elliott Sadler, one of the many things I love about you is you never strayed from your Virginia roots. You're all Virginia all the time. So besides the Virginia tracks, what was your favorite track to race at?
Bristol, Tennessee, the old Bristol, Tennessee, the one before they redid it and screwed it all up. The old Bristol was so much fun, and we beat and bang and wreck each other all the time. It was so much fun. And then they went and tried to make it more raceable, and now you race up against the top and you can't pass. But the old Bristol was by far my favorite.
If you had to play golf, if I said, Elliott, I've got a foursome for you at Pebble Beach, and you can play golf, but it's got to be with 3 NASCAR people, and they can be alive or passed on. You can pick anybody you want. Who are those 3 people?
Okay. Well, the first one's easy, Dale Jarrett, because he took me to many, many golf courses, and if we had a 3-hour show, I could fill it up with stories about him and playing golf. But Dale Jarrett, Dale Earnhardt, because he and I became really good friends with him through his son when I was living at Charlotte through that whole time before he passed away, and David Pearson. Wow. David Pearson was one of the funniest human beings I ever met. So I was lucky enough to drive the 21 car. So he and I got to do some appearances and stuff together. And he's one of these guys, I know you've been around him, and you're one of them, a great storyteller. It's like, one time in 1980, and this is what happened. One time in 1975, and you just on and on and on, and everybody's standing around waiting. And he was not the cleanest guy. It was always a little vulgar to it. But I could see playing 18 holes of golf with that threesome and just laughing and joking the whole time. Yes.
I just thought of this. You're from Emporia, Virginia. As I said, you're true to your Virginia. You got in the 21 Wood Brothers car. Talk to me. What about that?
So my dad and I were blown away when we got that phone call. I actually thought it was a friend of mine playing a joke on me. It was Eddie Wood who called and said they wanted to meet at Michigan that race weekend and talk to me about driving that car. And I was driving, Xfinity cars at the time.
Right.
I just started racing. And my dad and I were blown away to be able to drive the 21 car. It was their 50th anniversary in the year 2000. So I got to drive all these different special paint schemes that they had throughout the years that they made so many memories with. And, a great time in my life. Best lesson I ever learned. And I learned it at a great year. Very young age, 23, 24 years old. Eddie Wood brings me into the race shop, pulls me into the back. They have like 50 employees. They're there with their families and kids and everything. And he says, well, not only how you do on the racetrack, but how you act off the racetrack depends a lot on what happens to the future of these men and women and their families. And a lot's riding on your shoulders. Man, when he put that on me, yeah, that was maybe unfair or whatever, but it really makes you open your eyes as a young kid that you better do what you can to make things good. That a lot of people, that you're going to able to support by doing well on and off the track. That was a big lesson I learned early in life.
Well, and it's so true. It's so much bigger than yourself. What moment, coming from Emporia, and then you're nationally known. Elliott Sadler's on the M&Ms. I mean, any moments where you just went, wow.
A cool moment for me. 1997, my first full season in NASCAR racing. Okay, I've been a couple races here or there, but not full time. When I walked into Daytona Speedway the first time, and there was this big, tractor trailer with my car on it and my name, like my own name was on this huge tractor trailer, and I just thought, man, this is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
This is so cool. And then in 2003. The first year I drove the M&M's car, I had my own souvenir trailer. Right. That suit's actually from 2005. But anyway, 2003, I had my own souvenir trailer. And I'm just like, wow, this is cool. Who the hell wants to buy a shirt with my name on it? But I got a whole trailer full of them. It's just neat how that played out. But those were the two moments in my life that I was like, man, I just can't believe this is happening from, a small town country boy from Emporia that talks funny.
I think you talk. I'm from Locust, North Carolina. You talk perfect. We got 5 minutes left.
Great.
5 minutes left. Let's talk now about.
Already?
I know Nick's all worried because I've been going overtime, and Nick's got a wife at home, wants to have dinner with her and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Anyway, let's talk about now. So you're retired. You had a great tour, let's say, around NASCAR. Got to say goodbye to all the tracks and everybody. Why is the first question. I know the answer, but I want our viewers to know. Why, and what are you doing now?
Well, I retired not from NASCAR, but I retired to spend more time with my family and also to coach. I had a lot of people help me along the way that gave me opportunities to make it to my dreams. And I feel like in my life right now, I had chased my dreams long enough. Now it's my turn to help kids get the right platforms, get in the right situations, and maybe help fulfill their dreams, whether that's going to play college baseball, college softball, or getting some type of education. We're trying to do it all down here through our foundation We've got a lot of after-school programs, doing a lot of school stuff now for virtual schooling. We also have 19 travel ball teams for baseball and softball. And we just want to show kids in our area, in small town, you don't have to be a part of a big city or live near a big city to get an opportunity. We want to make sure small town kids in our area that we know on a personal level, that we can give them a platform to perform if they want to, and give them an opportunity to help maybe pave their way or pay for their way through school and get that opportunity to play a sport that they love. So I love coaching it. I coach a couple different teams there, doing lessons and doing all kinds of stuff, and I absolutely love being a part of it.
How do people, if they want to learn more about Top Hand, is there a website or something that they can go to?
Yep, tophandfoundation.org, and it's a lot of things that we do. We have, you were just talking about Nemo movie night. We have movie nights, and we have family nights for arts and crafts for people coming in. We have crazy movie nights, and they got those blow-up movie theater screens that we put outside in the parking lot, and all these people show up, just sit in their cars and watch because of the COVID. But we're trying to do a lot in our community as much as we can. We're from a tough part of Virginia. We have a lot of kids in our area that are underprivileged and need the extra attention and special attention that they deserve, that for some reasons and maybe don't get it at home. We want to try to give them a good, positive environment to be around as much as they can. And we love it. We love doing it, man. It's so much fun. And you've been great to us. I'm not going to lie. The squirrels have helped us out a lot with different things that we're doing, with sending kids to the ballpark to watch games, or
People
maybe a
don't know I
donation
send
here
you
and there.
baseballs, Elliot. They don't know I send you baseballs.
I didn't bring that up. Now you brought that up.
Hey.
Don't get me in trouble. I was leaving that part out.
Two things. E-racing, and we're going to finish up. E-racing and bologna sandwiches. E-racing, talk a little bit about that.
Well, I started my own team, Elliott Sadler Enterprise Esports. We just won the Road to Pro last night. I got a kid living in Richmond, Virginia right now. His name is Garrett Maines. He has high functioning autism, and he races online, and he runs legend cars at Charlotte. And actually, he's friends with Dennis Bickmeyer as well. He actually won a Road to Pro race last night, which is a huge race to try to win. So I just put the team together, a lot of fun, 15 or 16 guys on the team, engineers, crew guys, builders, drivers.
Wow.
In the world, I got out of racing. I want to be an owner, but it's something that my son and I have definitely loved to be a part of. Bologna burgers. Now, I've eaten a ton of them at South Boston Speedway. I know you're going to talk about the 16 that I ate
Correct.
one night. But people
One night, everybody, he ate 16 bologna burgers. 16!
But wait a minute. I don't want it to be fake news now. I start early that morning. It's like 11 o'clock in the morning when I started. So that's over a 12-hour
Okay,
span.
I thought you ate them like two hours.
No. Fake news. This was like 11 o'clock in the morning to like 11 or 12 o'clock at night. I ate 16 bologna burgers. And I ate 16 because my brother's race car was number 16, trying to bring him some good luck. It didn't work out. He had everything but the pace car, man. He was cold trickle. It didn't help at all.
That's my favorite movie line of all time. Hey, Cole, hit the pace car. Why, Harry? Because you hit everything else. I want you to be perfect. Well, Elliot, we're got to wrap it up here with you, buddy. I miss you.
Miss you guys too, man.
Your friendship is so important to me personally. You and your great family. Tell Wyatt I'm sorry that the Yankees are losing so many games right now.
Man, he is tore all to pieces. It's so bad.
I literally thought about him the other day because I heard they were losing again. I'm like, oh man, he's really
lose all the time, and Judge is hurt, so it's a double whammy right now.
But hopefully we can see you soon and keep it going down there, buddy. And thank you for being on the show. I hope to get together with you soon. Have fun, go nuts, as we say. And Elliot, appreciate you being with us. Everybody, we're going to be back with our second and final guest of the night. Make sure you send me your questions to Anthony Opperman's chat room on whatever it is we're doing. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Anyway, we'll be right back after this commercial message. Elliot, love you, buddy. Thank you. All right, so we made it through the Elliott Sadler segment with nothing broke, which, by the way, I would have lost that bet. A reminder, if you're watching at home, please send in your questions, any questions that you would like for us to answer when Anthony Opperman and I get a chance to speak at the end of the show. Always one of my favorite things. He asks the questions, and I make up the answers even when I don't know them. So it's race week here in Richmond, Virginia. Usually I am raring to go, ready for the big Squirrels September tailgate, which, by the way, I gotta think's the best tailgate party in all of the Richmond Raceway during September. But alas, we're taking a COVID pass this year. So our second guest is not only the president of Richmond Raceway, but happens to be an integral part of our personal and professional lives here at the Richmond Flying Squirrels. Dennis Bickmeyer. Bick, welcome to the show, buddy.
What's up, Barney? Thanks for having me, man.
I'm so surprised I got through the Elliott Sadler segment without anything going wrong. I don't even know how to act right now.
Well, it's good. Nothing broke, like you said. And hey, I just want him to know I got my M&M's note too today. I got my M&M's swag.
Everybody's getting M&M's but me, Oppo. What in the world's going on around here? Anyway.
I'll send some over. But I got props. Obviously, next big thing. Appreciate that.
That's right.
And I got wise bobblehead Parney here. Like, Parney, should I go out for lunch today? Yes. Okay. I went out for lunch today. Look, went to our friends over at Mission Barbecue. Got to get all of our sponsors
There
in.
you go. Typical NASCAR guy. So, Bick, you and I have had a great friendship through the years, and you obviously, you mean a lot to me. One of the things that I always love to hear is when we talk about how things happen professionally. Oh, by the way, give my dad a shout out at some point because he's watching the show from his hospital bed in Charlotte, North Carolina. No. My dad, Big Ray, is fighting some shingles right now. Now that I got my dad's personal life out
Big
there.
Ray. We wish Big Ray was here with us. Trust
me. You've met him before.
Up in the tour club.
Yeah.
I wish he was here with us this week. Trust me, you get better though.
So we always talk about how you never know. How you never know which conversation is going to make a difference, which conversation is going to lead to your next opportunity. Tell your Roger Penske story as we start out tonight, please.
Yeah, thank you. It was 1997, and I was working for the Angels at the time, working in baseball, and Roger Penske.
Who, by the way, are terrible right now.
Yeah, you were talking about the Yankees a few minutes ago, So Mr. Penske built a new 2-mile oval in Southern California out in Fontana. And I had interned for the Dodgers, and Jay Lucas was the PR director who became the first PR director at the racetrack. And Jay was a sports guy like all of us, had worked in baseball, had worked for the Lakers, had worked at UC Santa Barbara as a sports information director. He had just, gotten into racing, and he called on a bunch of his PR friends to come out and volunteer. So I had a full-time job, and I always tell this to young people that we all talk to. Yep. Volunteer, go out and help out a friend. And so I did that, and it was the first NASCAR race, Parney, that I'd ever been to, and I was blown away just on Friday, just for practice and qualifying, the enormity of it all. And so anyways, worked the weekend. I'm walking out late Sunday night to head to my car, and this white Suburban pulled up and the window rolled down, and it was Roger Penske. And he's like, hey, do you need a ride? I'm like, no, sir, I'm good. My car's just right over. He's like, nah, get in, I'll give you a ride. We kept going. I'm like, no,
Roger
I'm good.
Penske.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm good. And so then Jay walks out and sees me having this interaction with Mr. Penske. So Mr. Penske's like, jump in. So I get in the front seat. Jay jumps in the back. We drove around the raceway, the speedway there for 45 minutes with him asking me questions. I'm like, what's going on here? And he's like, he introduced himself. He's like, I saw you working around the media center. I said, yes, sir. I said, I was just here volunteering, helping Jay out. 45 minutes, drove around asking me questions. What went well? What didn't go well? Why didn't it go well? What can we do better? What would you change for he didn't know who I mean, it to this day, it warms my heart to think that, and you and I have done that, and we have an opportunity to impact young professionals in our business as well by helping them out, answering questions, helping them find job opportunities, as you and I both do as well. And it was just amazing. And then the thing, 2 years later, Jay got promoted and brought me in. I continued to volunteer, not just that one race, but 2 more races in 97, 3 races in 98, 2 races in 99. Jay got promoted, and I've been in motorsports ever since.
I could hear that. I mean, I've heard that story 100 times, and every time, just folks, especially young people, you never, ever, ever know when that's going to happen. I love that story. So you're still in your office. It's 7:30 something. You're going to probably be in your office a longer time tonight because that's Dennis Bickmeyer. That's the hard worker that I know and love. But this week's different. Can you talk a little bit about, I'm sitting here after having a 0-game season, and thank you, by the way, Bick, along with Eddie McLaughlin and Tanya and a few other close friends, for being that ear to me the whole summer. Talk a little bit about the weirdness that you're going through and just how does that feel right now?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you. I think we've all had to lean on each other like never before. And, for everyone that's watching and listening, we've had to lean on each other before when we've dealt with weather. Like, we're getting some weather now, and it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. And we had such a great night planned, and, Mother Nature got in the way. And now, since March, we've been talking about one thing, and the impacts that it's had on both of our organizations. But so you used the word weird. I think I texted you that earlier this week. I've never used that word so many times in my entire life like I have over the last 48 hours. It's different. I mean, we're going to run 4 races in 3 days without any fans. And right now, when I would, on a Wednesday night, 2 campgrounds would be open. Actually, no, 4 campgrounds would be open right now because we start on Tuesday. 2 on Tuesday, 2 on Wednesday, 1 on Thursday. When I would wrap up here, I would be spending the night here for the balance of the weekend, but I would be out like you are at the gates and everything, shaking hands, welcoming our guests, thanking them for being here. And I'm going to stay in my office and it's quiet and nobody else is here. And I can't help but think on a normal weekend, I would be doing this, just like you when you're at the ballpark, and it's tough. Our job right now, though, is to get our industry to the end of the season, is to get our industry to crown a champion in mid-November in Phoenix. That's the objective right now, and we have to be smart about it. We've got to follow the protocols. I mean, to think that from this point forward, I will not go into our infield. I'm not permitted in there unless there's some real emergency or something, but that's the NASCAR bubble. That's where the drivers are. That's where the teams are. That's where the officials are. That's their world. They are responsible for getting race cars on the racetrack. I'm not. We've got the facility ready for them. They got to go do their thing. And one last thing I will say, and you and I have talked about this, and I appreciate the accolades you've thrown at our industry. I'm proud of our industry to get us to this point because Saturday night's Federated Auto Parts 400, Mother Nature helping us out here, will run on the day it was supposed to run, September 12th. It's amazing. Remarkable that we've gotten back to this point.
Well, I've been very vocal locally in the media, sometimes to the detriment of my own sport because we didn't do it right in the beginning, maybe ever. But NASCAR did it perfectly, I thought. Can you talk a little bit about the conversations you guys had with the folks down in Daytona? I mean, and I know because you've told me privately, but people just, I think that you have a conference call and you go, okay, this is what we're going to do, and somebody unlocks the padlock on the gate and boom, away you go. Talk a little bit about the levels and layers that you guys all and gals all had to go through to get NASCAR to be the first major sport to come back.
Yeah, I mean, there's a core team in Daytona that worked on all of the protocols for a return to racing. And so we were down for 2 months and that team on the competition side had kind of a work stream that they had to work on. And then the racetracks had things that they needed to work on how we could kind of get everybody together. And then we also had to work with our local communities too, to make sure that we could race as well, given the guidelines and making sure that our local officials were comfortable with the sport coming into town and racing. And again, I think NASCAR took a very methodical approach with a lot of good insight from professionals on the medical side to build the protocols to return the racing. And then that was the focus. And then it was, okay, where can we return to racing with fans, limited fans, not just open the gates, like you said, and let's go, but very, very organized build up. So you saw like 1,000 people at Homestead Miami Speedway who were invited guests only. And that was a step to like, okay, how could we do this with 1,000? If you have to socially distance and organize their entry and their exit. And then that led to, I think it was up to 5,000 at Talladega. And it was a learning process each way. I will tell you, I worked on the return to racing at Martinsville for June 10th. That was without fans. But even getting that was, it was stressful, man. It was stressful.
I remember what you said to me after you were done. You said it was a very stressful situation. I remember that phone call.
Yeah, it was like being, on the witness box, man. I mean, and for all the right reasons, right. I mean, I think, again, you and I have talked about this. Our industry has had to adjust to things thrown at us over the years, and our industry will adjust to this, and we'll be better operators and better promoters on the other side of this. But as you know, we want the chance, and we want to do it right. We want to do it safe, and I think that everyone's looking to flip the calendar to 2021. But we know we're going to have to do things differently. We accept that responsibility, and again, we worked on this, and some of the names you mentioned, Eddie Mack, and just kind of that core team, Dan Schmidt
right.
At RMC Events has just been phenomenal through this entire process for all of us in this sports and entertainment industry. We will get back. We've got to get back. And people just need to have the confidence that us and our team and us as operators, we'll do everything we can to get our venues ready and do it the right way for them.
I think you've done an amazing job. You mentioned relationships. 7, is that 7, Nick? 7 minutes? Nick's going 7 minutes. Nick loves it when I shout him out during the show. You mentioned relationships with the drivers, Nick. Is there a driver, 2 drivers, 3 drivers that you find yourself, Dennis Bickmeyer, having a particularly close relationship with?
Well, one just got off the show, in Elliott and Hermie. And I mean, I knew them a little bit when they were racing, but not, like I do now, having, be here at their home track,
right.
Certainly. And I stopped on my way to Daytona, earlier on, we drive right through the Sadler Travel Plaza. So
don't speed. Don't speed at Emporia. You will get a ticket.
Yeah. But to stop and have breakfast with them and pick their brains. And I'm going a little bit off the question here, but Rick Mast, you see Rick all the time here at the races. I call him kind of like our friend Jack Barry. They're kind of like Yoda and Obi-Wan Kenobi, so that's how I look at those guys when I need advice. But really, Brad Keselowski is someone that's in my phone that I know I can shoot a text to or call and ask some questions about the racetrack or the upcoming race. Kyle Busch, actually, I've talked to him a few times. Same thing. He's in my phone. It's not, it's when I see him, it's always, we're talking the facility, we're talking the racetrack, we're talking what can be better, things like that. So those are 2 that I like to go to of the current drivers. Interestingly enough, I know I keep going to some former drivers, had a lengthy conversation with Jeff Burton yesterday, but a Virginian.
Not Ward,
but Jeff's racing this weekend, which is Ward's son. Jeff's son Harrison is racing and having a tremendous year, by the way. But I go to those guys because of their Virginia roots
Right.
and their history. And Parney, you know this, that we're very fortunate here. We've been doing this for over 70 years at Richmond Raceway. Martinsville's been around equally as long. We're pretty lucky to have the NASCAR roots as deep as they are. The Virginia roots are really deep.
And they don't stray. Like I said to Elliot, they don't stray. And one of the many things I love about your experience, I mean, obviously you treat us so well, but I get a little starstruck up in your suite sometimes. Even like, you know, I mean, I remember Rick Mass driving the 75 Realtree car, right? Like, I mean, I grew up every Sunday. My mom and dad would go to church, would come home. My mom, she might be watching the show, she'd never have Sunday lunch ready. We'd have to wait. I was starving. And then my dad and I would watch the start of the race. I remember all those sponsors, Chad Little, John Deere Green. So those memories for me are real. And when I come to Richmond Raceway, I become that little 12-year-old kid again. And I think that's such a neat part of what you guys do over there.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that, again, I think we're fortunate in that regard to have the history and the legacy that we do. But even like Denny Hamlin. So, you know, Hamlin's having a tremendous year. We're hopeful that the Championship Cup can come home to Virginia. We did a commercial a couple years ago that showed a little boy in the grandstands running a Hot Wheel car up and down the aluminum bench seats, you know. Denny's mom called me and said, that was Denny when he was a little boy. He did that.
Wow. When
we took him to the racetrack, he did that. And that was really special to me. And I didn't know that story. I did not know that story. We are so focused on bring a kid to the racetrack, just like you guys. Bring your family, bring your kids, make those memories. But that's our next generation of fans. And we try to do so much for family pricing and kids pricing. But that whole mantra, that whole tagline with, you know, bring a kid to the racetrack. And we tried to show that visually with this little boy having a good time in the grandstands running a Hot Wheels car. And you know, I kind of got the hair to stand up on the back of my neck that Denny's mom would call and say, that was our family.
Dreams come true. 2 minutes left, Vic. We can't come to the track. We can't buy tickets. How can we connect, be involved, and participate with Richmond Raceway this weekend?
Well, we need you guys, so thank you. All of our social channels, Facebook, Twitter, everything, Instagram. I did an Instagram thing today with Austin Dillon, man. It was so much fun. Waltrip did a Zoom call today with a bunch of sponsors. It was fantastic. But tune in, please. Starting tomorrow night, Toyota Care 250, NASCAR Gander Outdoor and RV Truck Series race. I gave you a mouthful on that earlier in the week. But 8 o'clock tomorrow night, FS1, and then the other three races are on NBC SN. So Friday night, Go Bowling 250. Saturday afternoon, Virginia's for Racing Lovers 250 at 2 o'clock. And then 7:30, race number 2 of the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs, Federated Auto Parts 400. Tune in, NBC SN. The national spotlight is on Richmond, Virginia.
Yep.
The place is ready. The facility's ready. We will miss the fans. We will miss the energy that the fans bring. I miss being fed and having a few beverages with our camping friends as well.
I miss that as well.
Yes, and that awesome Squirrels tailgate that I always have to run by on my way to the driver's meeting and try not to sweat.
And the drivers always drive by like, what in the world is going on over there?
Honk their horns on their golf carts.
Matt D came by, Matt D and his parents. So we love Matt D Benedetto. We want him to make it to the next round.
And Wood Brothers Racing, Stewart, Virginia.
There you go.
So
you got it.
So that's the key. So anyone out there, please spread the word. Tune in, and let's show a national TV audience what Richmond Raceway and Richmond, Virginia is all about.
Well, Vic, thanks for all your hard work. Please pass along to your wonderful, wonderful team over there. From the Flying Squirrels, please give them our best, our love. You're a great friend to me and my family as well. So love you, buddy. Thanks for being here. I will be in Sandbridge, Virginia, I've got 2 coolers packed into Tahoe right now, and I'm going to be ready to watch a bunch of racing this weekend. I don't know, Tanya, there you go. Tanya will be watching it as well, so we'll have a good time cheering on your racetrack.
Cheers to you guys. You will be with me in spirit for sure. And we will miss seeing you guys and having fun with you guys. But we will get back to this.
Yes.
We know we will, and it will be so much better for it. And thank you. Love you guys as well. Appreciate the squirrels. And have a great rest of the week.
Have fun, go nuts, Bick. We'll be right back with the question and answer with the one and only man behind the curtain, Anthony Opperman, right after this break. Coming up soon. Thanks for Parney's pitch around. I messed you up, didn't I?
Founded in 1996, SciComm is an award-winning IT systems integrator headquartered in Richmond with offices throughout Virginia. Their focus is on mid-Atlantic companies, healthcare organizations, educational institutions, and governments looking to improve their technology return on investment. SciComm is a trusted partner to deliver a range of IT solutions and services that keep companies connected. Named as one of the top workplaces in Richmond, SciComm is also the employer of choice for the best talent in the region and are committed to providing outstanding and memorable service.
Welcome back to the final edition of Parney's Pitch Around, powered by Dominion Energy for this season. This season would have been over on Monday. Today is, I think, Wednesday. Boy, doesn't COVID mess you up as far as not knowing what day of the week it is anymore? Usually in the baseball world, we have those pocket schedules that we follow biblically. And so we know where we're at, what we're doing, who we're playing, all that kind of stuff, but we don't have it this year. But one thing we do have is my very good friend and teammate, Anthony Opperman, who's going to pepper me with a couple of questions before I go to the house, and I'm sure Tanya's got something very, very delicious for me to eat for dinner before I watch Andy Griffith and go to bed. Oppo?
Well, big guys, we get started. Quick shout out to Alex. Thanks for tuning in. He passed along a comment, said, "Good evening, gentlemen." So, good evening to you, Alex. Appreciate
Your hair
you
looks
watching.
amazing tonight, Anthony.
Why, thank you, big guy.
I mean, it looks like Wes McElroy, if he's watching, he's got hair envy right now. Like, your hair is really, really doing it.
Yeah, I'm going to give props to the humidity today to helping out the height on the hair.
I mean, it looks good.
Hey, we talked some NASCAR today, a lot of it on this show, and Elliot had mentioned his foursome that he would go golfing with, and one of the people he had mentioned was Dale Earnhardt, and you actually had the opportunity to work for Dale Earnhardt when you were in Kannapolis as part of the leading the Kannapolis Intimidators. What was kind of your cool Dale Earnhardt story or memory or moment that you had from your time in Kannapolis?
That was easy. That's an easy question, Oppo. Thank you for asking it. I was walking through the Garage Mahal, which was Dale Earnhardt's garage in Mooresville, North Carolina, and I look up, and we had had interactions before, but he's walking towards me. As a young kid in Locust, North Carolina, as I told Elliot, I could hear Concord Motorsports Park on a Saturday night from our front yard. Driving on that track were names like Richard Childress, Dave Marcus, and wait for it, Dale Earnhardt Sr. when I was growing up. And to have him walking towards me, and then this happened, Oppo. He looked up, saw me, and said, "Hey, Parney, what's going on?" And I about fainted. Dale Earnhardt knew my nickname, and it's still to this day one of the coolest things that ever happened to me.
Any other moments that you recall being at the racetrack and getting a little bit starstruck? I know you mentioned one earlier.
Which one was the one earlier, Oppo? Help me out.
You're talking about Mr. Mast?
Oh, yeah, I got you. No, I thought you meant I mean, just the whole thing, like especially when we were living on Lake Norman, you'd go to a barbecue place, and you'd see all the drivers there eating. It was just like normal living on Lake Norman. It was just, I mean, it was no big deal that you lived around those guys. Lindsay and Sammy went to dance class with Michael Waltrip's kids. So, I mean, it was just all part of our everyday life. But it was really cool living there in the epicenter, and not only living there, but also having the cross promotion with baseball. And one of the things I really loved about Dell Sr. was that he loved baseball. Big Atlanta Braves fan. Ned Yost was one of his best friends. So the whole experience, as difficult as that job was, and I've gone on record as saying that particular job was the toughest job I've ever had in my career. It was also one of the most rewarding, one of the most fun, not as fun as Richmond, but there was a lot of things that happened there that were like holy cow moments.
So Big doesn't just run Richmond Raceway. He's also got Virginia Credit Union Live in the amphitheater. Obviously, with COVID-19, it's put a pause to shows coming through. But when we get through this pandemic and when we get to the other side, Big Guy, if you could pick your ideal concert to be able to go see as your first concert after the pandemic, who would be performing at that concert at Virginia Credit Union Live?
I'm laughing because if my kids are watching right now, they'll be, oh, Oppo's setting him up again. It's easy. I actually talked about this when I was in Idaho fly fishing with Joe McCatherine, our league president, because we had a guest surprise at Lloyd Floyd's house, and that was Cody Braun from Reckless Kelly. So we talked about this. Here it is. Mickey and the Motor Cars open up for Reckless Kelly, that opens up for the return of the Turnpike Troubadours. How about that?
That's pretty solid if you've got the Braun brothers with Mickey and the Motor Cars and Reckless Kelly, and then to have Turnpike back would be amazing. I think there would be a lot of people that would be really excited to go see
Parney Productions is going to try to make that happen for you, everybody. Parney Productions is going to try to make that happen for you.
Well, I think you can rest assured that Ed McLaughlin will be right there in the front row to make sure
I think
to
he's
see
knocking,
not only Reckless Kelly,
he's knocking on
but
the door
Turnpike
right now, I
Troubadours.
think, Oppo. I think he heard about it. He vaporized from his house.
As, again, looking forward post-pandemic, Big Guy, and as we kind of work our way through the baseball offseason, what are some important developments that fans should kind of keep an eye on as we try and work toward 2021?
Well, I mean, the body blows just keep coming. They need to keep watching what's happening between Major League Baseball and minor league baseball. Not only are we fighting COVID, but we have never had negotiations with our major league partner, with the Major League Baseball, that has gotten to this point and this contentious ever. When I started 30 years ago, we had a negotiation that went longer than expected, but never like this, where the reports are that minor league baseball is going to change in the form. So for all of us that are lifers, like myself, like you, like other people that we know and love in and outside of this organization, these have been tough days. But I had a conference call today. Nothing came from it as far as big news, but I hung up saying they are talking, and progress is being made. So for our fans out there, I think the brightest days are ahead, just like Vic just said for NASCAR. I think in Richmond particularly, our brightest days are ahead. And I think that people really need to pay attention to what's going on with Major League Baseball, minor league baseball. The deal runs out on September the 30th, but don't be alarmed. That doesn't mean we're going away. That doesn't mean we're dissolved. That just means that we're working to get a new deal with Major League Baseball. And if you made me guess right here and right now, I would say that I would hope that we would get one sometime shortly after the deadline, and then we'll get a schedule. And once we get a schedule, Oppo, we're going to be off and running to the races, because that's what we need in order to prepare for the 2021 season. And I know how hard you work, buddy. You're going to be ready to go once we get that schedule, and I know that I will, and all of our teammates as well.
Yeah, there's a long list of us who can't wait to lay eyes on that 2021 schedule and start getting back to a little sense of normalcy around the office and start thinking about a baseball season again. I mean, don't get me wrong, movies, happy hours, disc golf, everything in between, it's great. But, we got in this for baseball, so we can't wait to be able to do that again.
Totally agree with you. Never have wiser words been said, Anthony. That Texas Christian University education coming to fruition yet again.
All right, big guy, I got one last question for you as we close out the show for tonight and then close out our first season of Parney's Pitch Around. We all take a little bit of something from our parents, and lessons and life advice from our parents. I know for me, with my dad, I got countless lessons in work ethic and hard work. What's a lesson that Ray Parnell taught you that has stuck with you to this day?
Never quit. I remember two occasions. One when I was playing Little League Baseball and I made an error, and all of a sudden I was sick. And I didn't, he probably doesn't even remember this. And I didn't play. I sat in the dugout, and he came over to the fence, and he said, "What's wrong?" And I said, "I'm sick." And it was literally after I made an error in the first inning of the game. We got in the car. He looked at me and he said, "Don't ever do that again. You play through the good parts. You play through the bad parts. You always play. You never quit." And then we moved to Pennsylvania when I was 13, which don't even get me started. Locust, North Carolina to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Talk about shock, right? 13, you're messed up anyway. But we went up there, and my very first basketball game, we went to the game, and I basically just stood around because I didn't want to offend any of the new players on the team. I didn't want to take over. And we got in the car. Again, the car was the magic spot, right? We got in the car, and he looked at me and he said, "If you expect me to continue bringing you to these games, you better play the game the way it was meant to be played and stop standing around like a statue." And that was the end of that. I took games over from that point on. And I think one of the things that I've always, in my 31 years of minor league baseball, during COVID especially, during these testy times, never quit, never stop, always work like it's your last day on the job, that you got a job to do. So my dad's a very hard worker. He's always been a very hard worker. There was never a clock. The job was meant to be done, and I think you were raised the same way. So that's one of the many things that I take from Ray, who I don't know if Ray's still watching. Maybe he took a nap or something, but thank you for asking that question, Anthony.
Could think of no better way to end it, big guy. You've enjoyed it, and look forward to talking about the 2021 season next time we jump on YouTube Live together.
Sounds great, buddy. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to our sponsors, Dominion Energy, SciComm, and Pepsi. Thank you, Nick, for being the producer and the time clock watcher, and we look forward to greater days ahead, everybody. Stay positive. Have fun. Go nuts.